Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm your host, Purkho Bheel from SARIM. You are watching a conversation with Mr. Ananda Nepali ji. Let me start from his introduction. Ananda ji is founder and director at Policy Research and Consulting Service and Pride Foundation Nepal, and also US Embassy Youth Council member, country chair at Global Goodwill Ambassador Foundation, US for Nepal, chapter head at Global Board of Environmental Sustainability Trust, fellow at Federation of International Gender and Human Rights USA, and working as Human Rights and Policy Advocacy Officer at Jagaran Media Center, Nepal. So, how are you, sir? And once again, thank you for your time and efforts. So, now I am moving to our question side. So, my first question is could you please tell us about yourself, your background, early interest, and what motivated you to being a human rights activist?
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, it's me, Ananda Nepali from Nepal. I was born in remote village of Gulmi district, Lumbini province, Nepal, in the very remote village, Dalit community. Belonging from Dalit community, I have seen and faced so many discrimination throughout my life. Since a very young age, I was a brilliant student. My dream was to be a doctor. However, I was pretty much aware about vulnerability of my community. So I started to advocate about discrimination on the ground of caste and class. In a nutshell, the humiliation, discrimination motivated me to become a human rights activist and will be fighting for equality to the last of the battle.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing your background and early life. So, now I am moving to our next question. My next question is you have been working as promote quality and education, empower and dignify people in diverse range. Kindly brief us and tell us about your organization, how your organization is playing its role in resolving the major issues faced by minority communities.
Okay. My organization's name is Pride Foundations, and which is a non-profit organization, and also another companies, Policy Research and Consulting Services Nepal, which is a company. Um, we work for policy research sector. Uh, uh,
Mhm,
the Proud Foundations, its main objective is to educate, empowerment, and dignify
mhm,
uh, dignity. We basically work by maintaining gender equality, disability, and social inclusion. For 100 years, of Dalit community was biased of different
mhm,
mainstream areas of social, uh, economy, education, empowerment,
mhm,
um,
mhm.
and many more. And we are trying our best to advocate about the existing discriminations and trying to reach out issues
Mhm,
in policy level. Furthermore, we are spreading awareness type of program by organizing different awareness programs, workshops, other crucial programs like against the caste-based discriminations and untouchability
mhm,
and SRH, that means sexual and reproductive health, social protection mechanism, economic
mhm.
empowerment, environment, climate change, based on Dalit community or marginal community.
Thank you. Thank you, Anandaji. My next question is what are the different issues faced by Dalit in Nepal? Are there any other ethnic or religious minority communities other than Dalits who are subjected to discrimination and violence?
Yeah, Nepal retains centuries all caste system. Dalits, the discriminated people under the system. The different issues faced by Dalits in Nepal are discrimination that is based on caste, racial, religious, gender, uh, and other minorities based discrimination, and based of significant and bias of significant opportunity based discrimination, and hesitant to provide rent room in city area and villages.
Mhm,
Other with lack of active participation in socio-political and economic labor. and other suffer from restrictions on the use of public amenities, and deprivation of economic opportunities, and last only general neglect by the state and societies. There are so many communities who are subjected to discrimination, like minorities, Muslim community, marginalized communities, indigenous communities, and so on. And called higher caste perception has always ruined so many by these communities.
Thank you. My next question is, as you are member of the International Council, what are the main objectives of the council? How this body is supporting to eliminate discrimination in South Asian countries, as well as the international level?
Yeah, yeah. I was a youth council member of US Embassy in Nepal for year 2019, 20, 22,
Right.
21, and yeah. So, uh, mm, uh, I have engaged many national and international organizations. I always try to um, address the issues of Dalit communities or marginal communities, women, and also other sexual minorities. And and my main objective of life is to create a strong connection between diverse community, enhance the personal leadership development, and will get opportunity to lead through many projects, uh, which is held by international organizations. Uh, yeah, we are looking forward to uh, uh, various projects. Through this type of project, we can do awareness programs to eliminate the discrimination. Uh,
Okay, fine. Thank you. We can't deny the fact that youth makes a major portion of the population of South Asian countries. So, in your opinion, how youth can contribute to eliminate the inequality among peoples, especially in the caste discrimination?
yeah, Dalits and marginalized communities actively engage in networks and empowered to fight against injustice, social taboos, and culturally deep-rooted malpractices. It's a we youth have a power to be changed that we wish to see in the world. Youth can contribute in so many actions. First of all, Dalit and non-Dalit youth should empower each others for the betterment. And secondly, in order to create nations like Ethiopia, youth need to come forward in leadership position, policy level, and policy making level. At her, youth should use the energy at the right and inequality free society where everyone can live a life of dignity. And mostly we should focus on to increase economic inclusion, create a decent work and higher incomes, enhance social services, and ensure access to social protection, facilitate safe migration, mobility. Basically, in South Asia, we all youth should be united and collective wise to advocate for making new acts, laws, policies, plans, and programs that should be Dalit and minorities, marginalized communities friendly, like as Dalit youth should be coordinated with media to disseminate research-based and analytical news article feature about the issues of Dalit.
Thank you. My next question is, the basic elements required for an equal society are to promote knowledge of the minorities' culture and history and intercultural perspective. Do you think that youth advocacy campaigns to promote knowledge and inclusivity can draw impactful result in attending the peaceful and inclusive society, especially in South Asia?
Yeah, in South Asia, basically marginalized communities, Dalit communities, are biased um, on social action, cultural action program. People, uh, people stop to Dalit peoples to go and worship in temples, and that is very difficult moment, difficult situations in culture base in Dalit community. Uh, but Dalit youth should organize themselves to make collective minds and force against all sorts of caste discrimination and untouchability, and police authorities concerned for ensuring the participation in the formulation of youth-related policies. Um, if we see closely, South Asia is enriched of so many cultures. Every community has its own uniqueness, skills, and knowledge. If it is valued, then nobody has to bias of inequality, discrimination, and restriction. In the context of Nepal, each ethnicity has its own skills. If youth advocacy campaign initiate, then it can definitely promote changes to bring equality, peaceful, and cohesive society.
Thank you. Thank you for your opinion. My next question is, as various kind of persecution and discrimination are being faced by Dalits in India and Nepal, how stands and frequent violence in both of the countries comparatively?
For centuries, the Dalit minority in South Asia had faced discrimination, marginalization, stigma, and violence. Both
Mhm.
India and Nepal had a significant percentage of Dalit population who are
Mhm.
biased for hundreds of years. I think country have same ratio of discriminations. Dalit are discriminated against on the basis of caste and
Yeah.
untouchability. They are not only discriminated by so-called higher caste people in the Hindu system,
Mhm.
but also by people within the same caste.
Yeah.
Above all, in both countries, Dalit women suffer much more than Dalit men,
Mm,
because they
yeah.
are double discriminated in terms of caste,
Yeah.
gender, and patriarchal system. Mainly in context of government, India supports uh, and promote and create a better environment than in Nepal. Today, if we see the President of India, Vice
Mhm.
President of India, they already create and made the decision making labor,
Mhm.
create an environment for Dalit community. But in Nepal, still people are struggling, or the leaders from Dalit community uh,
Mhm.
have been struggling for rights. Uh, Rights, yeah, Dalit, yeah, because therefore Dalit are double discriminated in terms of caste and other system.
Thank you. My next question is most important according this same question. So, with regards to the caste-based discrimination in Nepal, it seems like either the state does something that provokes violence or does not do to stop it. To what extent the state is willing to provoke the anti-minority sentiment within the country? How youth can raise their voices so high to underline the issues at national and international level?
Yeah, it's a very good questions. Yeah, in regard to the caste discrimination, there is not
Mhm.
enough law to address strongly to create a discrimination-free society,
Mhm.
a just society in Nepal. However, still there are some provision to law in different
Mhm.
constitution of Nepal. But the irony is those provision has not exercised in practice.
Mhm.
Practically, we are failed, only limited in the written manifestos, only in
Mhm.
paper. Some
Yeah.
educated people or elite people
Mhm.
don't discriminate, mainly some educated
Mhm.
people don't discriminate in words, but when it comes to behavior, they show the real face, which is really frustrating. The struggle of Dalits in Nepal against discrimination suffers a number of obstacles.
Mhm.
Unity among the Dalit organizations, or the unity of Dalit communities, or Dalit
Mhm.
people is a big obstacle. They all share a common vision, equitable and just society for Dalits. But Dalit caste hierarchy, and intra-caste discrimination. They lack a unity to be able to achieve the goal. Coordination between the Dalit movement and other movements like women's movement, indigenous movement is lacking. Without solidarity among them, Dalit movement cannot be strengthened. Yeah, another is the communication gap between Dalit communities, local communities, and central government, um, local, provincial, and federal government is another obstacle. The 8-point program launched by the previous Prime Minister, uh, punishment for caste discrimination is highlighted in this program. But since the Dalit communities are unaware of this program, Dalits do not benefit um, from opportunities,
Mhm.
the right policies. And the youth can raise their voice to eliminate the discrimination on the ground of many aspects, but very first, this themselves should start to be the agent of change. And then only they can convince others. Moreover, youth from bias group also fight for it and lead it by including non-Dalit youth for the betterment.
Thank you. Among all the South Asian countries, how would you rank or categorize each on the basis of the caste discrimination? In which country people are being subjected to high rate of discrimination and violence compared to the other countries? What's your opinion on it?
Yeah, I want to share very short. I have been working
Mhm.
in this sector for a long time in terms of caste-based discrimination and violence.
Mhm.
Antecedents. All the South Asian countries, bias group are facing equal amount of discrimination and restriction. So inequality has no other synonyms. So I can rank.
My next question is also about Jagaran Media Center. So last month I was read a news about Dalit from Nepal. So my question is a conversation on Dalit issues in Nepal media organized by Jagaran Media Center in August 2022 highlights that Dalit issues does not get proper space in Nepali media. Why is this so?
Yeah, it's a very, very important question, Purkho.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very challenging job for Dalits and non-Dalits on caste system and Dalit issues. There is no encouragement from the intellectual community to write on Dalit issues. There are many agendas in Dalit community besides caste-based discrimination and untouchability, which needs to be explored. Here is a need
Mhm.
to do some groundwork to encourage and attract writers and a new generation, new youth journalists
Mhm.
to write on caste system and Dalit issues. It is true that those issues does not get proper space in Nepal media uh, because in a higher
Mhm.
position of media or media house there is uh, other so-called higher caste people rule who don't think those issues, national issues, it's important. Moreover, there is a
Mhm.
very less Dalit people who are into writing and research,
Mhm.
and furthermore, lacking of mentorship in writing or
Mhm.
publishing area, which is the major hindrance. Yeah,
Yeah.
nowadays, journalists,
Mhm.
from the Dalit communities are increasing. So, Nepali media is going to address the Dalit
Mhm.
issues in Nepali media.
To what degree the efforts of regional and international organizations are required to establish social balance, economics, dynamics, and national identity?
Uh, yeah, Dalit problem cannot be resolved overnight.
Mhm.
Its solution requires a combination of action on the part of Dalit communities, governments, and political parties, and other NGOs, other uh,
Mhm.
CSOs uh, mm, uh, on the part of Dalit communities and international organizations. The Dalit issues should now be treated as a political issues that deserve the attention of government, bureaucrats, and politicians. Law against the discrimination of Dalits should be properly enforced. and government programs for uplifting the economic and social status of Dalit should be fully implemented. The effort of regional and international organizations are required to establish social balance, equity, economic dynamism, and national identity. And by playing a powerful role in helping societies and countries to achieve multiple noble ends, including boosting economic prosperity, promoting social development, improving levels of well-being, preserving human rights, providing humanitarian aid, protecting environment and safeguarding peace, and by helping to foster cooperative behavior for Dalit community, marginalized community, sexual minorities, um, indigenous people, indigenous community.
Thank you. My last question and most important question is, how can SARIM collaborate with your organization to help the persecuted minorities within South Asia?
Uh, yeah, SARIM, there's a South Asian Research Institute for
Institute for
Minorities.
Minorities. Yeah,
Is a very important organizations for South Asia. Uh, uh, SARIM has been doing and creating a voice against um, caste-based or minority-based discrimination. Yeah, so we can collaborate with our organization to help persecuted minorities within the South Asia by coordinating uh, different type of civic engagement project where we can work in advocacy, uh, media, campaign, and programs to make a great impact in people's life. Sorry, Mr.
thank you very much, Anandaji, for your precious time on the urgent call. So once again, I'm very thankful behalf of the SARIM team.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Purkho. It's a very critical issues for in Asia, South Asia. We should
Yes,
be worked day and night for
yeah,
equality, equity, gender equality in minorities communities.
yeah,
So together we can make it
sure.
just society. Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Dhanyawad. Thank you.